This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Thursday, September 12th, 2019. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. On Sunday afternoon at about 4:10 p.m., the Anne Arundel County Police Department responded to Tower Bridge Drive in Pasadena for a result of shots fired in the area. This was a bit of a delayed call, and when they arrived on the scene, they spoke with several people who said that an unknown male had pointed a handgun at the ground in a basketball court at the location and fired one shot into the ground. The suspect then did flee the scene. At the time, officers weren't able to locate the suspect, and through investigation, they were able to identify a person of interest. On Monday afternoon, a detective who was on the Mountain Road corridor happened to notice the suspects, along with their vehicle, stopped at Mountain Road and Edward Rayner Boulevard. They were detained. They searched the vehicle. They found 28 grams of marijuana, the loaded 9mm Taurus handgun, and the suspect was arrested and charged as an adult. He's a 17-year-old male from the 400 block of Queenstown Road in Severn, Maryland. We're not identifying him by name, as the charges in this case appear that they may be thrown back into juvenile court. He was charged with attempted second-degree murder with 2 counts of reckless endangerment, 2 counts of first-degree assault, as well as several drug and weapons charges. Currently, he is being held at the Jennifer Road Detention Center. And yesterday, Ann Colt-Litis, the Anne Arundel County State's Attorney, had announced that Joseph Earl Carter, 33, of Davidsonville, was sentenced to the maximum penalty of 60 years of active incarceration by Circuit Court Judge Glenn Clavins. What did Joseph Earl Carter do? Well, he was found guilty of sexual abuse and second-degree rape of a 3-year-old child. Back in August of 2018, the Anne Arundel County Police responded to the hospital for the report of child sexual abuse. They did talk with the victim, who was 3 years old at the time, and reported that her Uncle Earl had committed the abusive acts against her. Apparently, Carter offered to watch the child while his wife, who is the child's aunt, took a nap. Carter was already a Tier 3 lifetime child sexual predator and should have had no contact with children. Carter told the police that he was never alone with the child, but his wife had contradicted him on that. Absolutely disgusting, and to be honest with you, while I admire Judge Clavins for giving him the maximum amount, legislators need to look at that because 60 years ain't nearly enough. Well, after 30 years, the Crofton High School is under construction, and now it has a name. The Board of Education yesterday unanimously approved naming the county's first new high school in 40 years. Wait for it. Crofton High School. No surprises there. They did have a vote on that in a public meeting. 320 of 402 people who cast ballots decided they liked Crofton High School as the name. This new high school is $135 million. It is the first new high school since 1982, and it is going to open for grades 9 and 10 in September of 2020 and expand by a single grade in each of the next 2 years. And along with the new name, Crofton has a new Twitter account, and you can follow them at Crofton High. President Donald Trump is visiting Baltimore later on this evening, and he is planning to snarl rush hour traffic. So if you're trying to get into or out of Baltimore, which you may, and I'll get to that in a second, just beware. The Secret Service and the Baltimore Transportation Department are keeping mum on which roads are going to be closed, but he is scheduled to give a dinnertime speech at the Baltimore Marriott Waterfront Hotel in Harbor East. What we do know is that they have said to expect high volumes of traffic downtown between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., as well as temporary intersection closures. If that wasn't bad enough, there is a home Orioles game at 7:05, as well as a convention in town that's bringing 30,000 people to the Natural Products Expo East. So my advice is that if you're planning to go to Baltimore tomorrow night, see if you can rearrange it. Oh, and there is no word if the Marriott was going to allow any rats into the dinner. Some great news for Annapolis. The Budweiser Clydesdales, who have been here for 7 years for the Military Bowl, are coming back again. They're going to be leading the Military Bowl parade on Friday, December 27th. They are going to be at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium just before kickoff during the tailgate. And the day before the Military Bowl, which would be December 26th, that is the day right after Christmas, they are going to be going over to West Annapolis. They did this last year, and it was a fantastic day. The full hitch drove around the block several times, thrilling the crowds. And if you've never seen the Clydesdales, this is something you definitely want to mark on your calendar. We found that out yesterday with a podcast we did with Katcef Brothers, who brings the Clydesdales every year. You may want to give that a listen to over at the Maryland Crabs podcast. Oh, and also today on the Maryland Crabs podcast, and you're going to be interested in this one. This is the very first sit-down, knock-down, drag-out, long-form interview that Annapolis's new top cop, Chief Edward Jackson, has done. He sat down with us and we talked about a whole bunch of different things in his vision for the future of Annapolis. So you want to check out the Maryland Crabs podcast. That episode drops at noon today. Okay, that is about it for the top news today. Please make sure you check out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day because we do update it throughout the day. Give us a rating or a review if you're someplace where you can do that, and make sure all your friends and family know about us. It's Thursday. We have Trevor with your Annapolis Makerspace Maker Minutes. And also, as we have every day, we have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast, and he's coming up in just 1 minute.
September 28th, the second annual Twist and Stout Festival at Quiet Waters Park along the shores of the South River. Twist and Stout, a Maryland wine, craft beer, food, and arts festival presented by the Anne Arundel County Department of Recreation and Parks along with the Maryland Wineries Association. Sample dozens of craft beers and Maryland wines. There's music all day starring the Groove Spot Band, along with the Naptown Brass Band and Vertigo Red. Watch the Plein Air Painters and shop dozens of artisans, crafters, and food trucks. Tickets are on sale now at twistandstout.org. That's TWISTANDSTOUT.org. September 28th, Twist and Stout at Quiet Waters Park. Noon till 6. Tickets at twistandstout.org. Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Thursday, September 12th. Yesterday was a hot one for the Annapolis region, and today will be another midsummer-like day for the area, with highs again in the upper 80s to lower 90s. But then the temps will quickly edge back down a bit into the low to mid-80s on Friday, with sunny skies expected across the region, before yet another nice weekend ahead with sun-filled skies and highs in the mid-80s or so both days. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching for DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores, and also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter, as well as our website at dmvweather.com, so you can always stay weather informed.
There is a diamond of diamonds. It's from De Beers. Only 14 diamond tears in the world can touch them. Its name, Forevermark. And Zachary's is the only jeweler in the Annapolis area that has it. Not only is it beautiful and rare, it has a story, supporting women in diamond-producing areas around the world. So when you give a Forevermark diamond, you don't just give, you give back. Zachary's and Forevermark, a jeweler and a jewel. Online at zacharysjewelers.com.
Every week, makers, crafters, and educators hold events all over the area. Highlighting some of those, here's our Maker's Minute, brought to you by Annapolis Makerspace.
Hey, this is Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes. This weekend, the Anne Arundel County Fair is in full swing. Beyond the rides and junk food, be sure to check out over a dozen musical performances, the Draft Horse Pull, America's Got Talent Contest, Sawmill Demonstration, Antique Tractors, and Great Craft Contest. On Saturday, check out the Beverly Triton Photography Hike. Get out and learn about nature photography while exploring Beverly Triton. Perfect for beginners as well as advanced photographers looking for some tips to get great outdoor shots. Also on Saturday, check out Annapolis at Twilight. Capital Photography Center takes you through the cobblestone streets of Annapolis to capture our historical capital. Starting in the afternoon and carrying on through the evening, you'll photograph historic homes, lively streets, and as it gets darker, enjoy the blue hour just after sunset and capture car light trails with long exposures. Monday at the Brass Tap at Annapolis Mall, join Maryland craft parties with Jen Moselin, making bottle cap plaques, and enjoy some food and beverages while you're there. At the Chesapeake Children's Museum this week, on Sunday, they'll be having their Hispanic Heritage Celebration, with crafts, cooking, and storytelling to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And on Monday, they're having another one of their kitchen convos. What language can you speak when your mouth is full? American Sign Language. Learn ASL as you cook and dine on pita pizza, banana ice cream, deviled eggs, and lots of fresh fresh veggies. And on Tuesday, check out Ouf Chou Tabie. And forgive any mispronunciations there, my Lebanese is pretty rusty. This is going to be a cooking demonstration with Lebanese taverna. And as always, check out Chesapeake Children's Museum's weekly Creek Critters on Thursday mornings, Art and Storytime on Friday mornings, as well as their baby and toddler playgroup on Monday mornings. At Ray of Light Studios this week, tonight they're having a linocut block print workshop. Learn about carving soft blocks and doing your own linocut block prints that you can use to print on shirts, canvas bags, shoes, and even paper. On Tuesday, there's Chesapeake Zentangle. Crabs, heron, and horseshoe crabs will be the inspiration for this relaxing, repetitive Zentangle workshop. Zentangle has been described as focus on creating pattern designs and mindfulness so that you don't think about anything else. Learn how to use patterns to divide your spaces into beautiful black and white designs. Templates are provided so you can focus on just doodling if you prefer. And lastly, at Ray of Light, on Wednesday is Weeknights in Watercolor. Check out the second in this weekly Wednesday mini-series of watercolor fun. This week at Art Farm in Annapolis, tonight they're having a block printing workshop. Learn how to carve your own block and block print onto beautiful paper with artist extraordinaire Anita Hagen. You'll be able to take your block home and continue printing on whatever you like. No experience is required. And tomorrow is Roar Gallery Show and Reception. This gallery show features 5 great artists from around the area, including Christine Laubach from Stevensville, Nicole Salambean of D.C., Karina Stone from Annapolis, Jordan Wine of D.C., and Lee Noel from Baltimore. GEMS, Girls Excelling in Math and Science, is currently looking for volunteers to help get girls interested in STEM. Visit gemspgcounty.org to sign up at the Anne Arundel County Public Library System this week. On Saturday, at the Odenton Library, they're having a 3D printing with Tinkercad workshop. Tinkercad is a great free 3D program that's a good introduction to 3D design. Registration is required. Lots of stuff going on at Ponga's Learning Lab this week. Tomorrow, they're having their Friday Night Gamers Club. Monday, they're having their Coder Kids Club, Introduction to Programming for grades K through 5, their Little Scientist Club, Builders Club, as well as their Drone Flight School for grades 3 to 8. On Tuesday, they're doing more of their Coder Kids Club, as well as more Introduction to Programming. On Wednesday is the Robotics Club for homeschoolers, Programming Robots for grades K through 8, Builders Club, YouTube Stars and Animators Club, as well as their YouTube Stars Crash Course for grades K through 8. This week at the Patuxent Lapidary Guild, check them out on Saturday for their Advanced Casting class, Gold Carroting and Casting Workshop. Assuming a basic knowledge of lost wax casting and silver, and starting with invested wax patterns that you provide, you'll learn how to determine the amount of gold needed for a given pattern, how to carat gold from pure 24 karat and a master alloy to an alloy of your choice, up carroting and down carroting, scrap reuse, nickel and palladium white gold alloys, and quality marking requirements in the U.S. And finally, this week at Annapolis Makerspace, on Tuesday is our monthly CAD and CAM and CNC workshop using Autodesk Fusion 360 for anyone interested in learning about computer-controlled routers and how to get your 2D or 3D design carved out of wood or various other materials. And as always, Wednesday is our woodworking open night, and Thursdays is our electronics open night. And you can catch me tonight and every Thursday night at Annapolis Makerspace on Renard Court for electronics night. And you can find links to all of these events at the Annapolis Makerspace website at makeannapolis.org. And whether you're making art, software, sawdust, or just a mess, chances are you're already a maker. This has been Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes.
Suicide prevention starts with everyday heroes like you. Join us Saturday, September 21st at the Navy Marine Corps Stadium in Annapolis as we walk to fight suicide. Be a part of the movement turning hope into action. Funds raised will benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/Annapolis. Together, we can help stop suicide. Go to afsp.org/Annapolis.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.